The verses 3, it reads, Ziganzi, allow me to speak with you. And when I am done speaking with you, you may walk on. I like the verse more in vernacular. It reads, Ziganzi, nditendere okanditaure nemi. Kana ndapedza, mungandiseka zvenyu. Luke chapter 10 and the verses 23 it reads, Ziganzi, blessed are the eyes that see what you see. For many prophets and kings desired to see what you see, but they did not. For many kings desired to hear what you hear today, but they did not. Many people have died during the week. Many people have fallen sick and been admitted to hospitals during this week. And you have been given a chance and an opportunity to be here today. So blessed are the eyes that see what you see. 1 Corinthians chapter 1, and the verses 18 it reads, for the word of the cross is folly to those who are perishing, but to us who are being saved, it is the power of God. Now the chorus leaders in the song. Come change go.
Come change go pane upenyu Jesu atindi tarise basi nefuma nezvenando
in prayer. Heavenly Father, the heavens and the heaven of heaven cannot contain thee. Father, how much less can this house built of asbestos and timber poles contain thee? Nevertheless, Father, we ask for your presence this morning. Father, may you speak to us in a special way. May you speak once, and us as your children, may we hear you speak 5 times more. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Amen. Now let us quickly stand and walk to the book of Genesis chapter 1. Genesis chapter 1. And the verse is 1, it reads, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. Verse 2 reads, the earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep, and the Spirit of God was moving over the face of the waters. Now verse 26, let's quickly walk to verse 26. It reads, then God said, let us make man in our image, after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the birds of the air, and over the cattle, according to their kinds, and everything that creeps upon the ground according to its kind. May the Lord bless the reading of his word. Then I pose the question, what is the image of God? What is the image of God? When I was at school, I used to ask my friends this question. I remember I asked this other friend of mine, and then he told me that and then I asked this other girl, and she was saying, Kana Mwari anenzeve. So when I went into the world, I continued to ask people on this question, what is the image of God? And then I discovered that many people have different versions of the image of God. To the world, this question becomes a mystery because there can only be one image of God, but the world seems to have different versions of the image of God. If you visit churches, they will show you pictures of Jesus on the wall. If you visit other homes, they will show you pictures of Jesus on the wall. And they will tell you that that is the image of God. Other people are given stones and they are told to go home with them. That is the image of God. Other people, they are given bangles and bracelets that are written the image of God. So the world seems to have different versions of the image of God. The Muslims will tell you that look at Allah, that is the image of God. So different religions have different versions of the image of God. But there is one God and there is one image. So this question becomes a mystery to us. What is the image of God? Biology is quick to say our genotype is different. That is our genetic makeup. Our phenotype is different. That is our outward appearance. If you get a girl pregnant, it's easy to catch you because they will do what they call a DNA test. Because our DNA is even different. If you steal something and the police come and then they get your fingerprints, they will tell you that you are the thief. Because our fingerprints are different. Yes. My father's fingerprints and mine are different. But we're created in the image of God. So what is this image of God? You realize that takasiyana, technically speaking, in the way we look. Those who donate blood, they will tell you that if you're blood A, you cannot donate to blood B. But we're created in the image of God. So what is this image of God that the Bible, Genesis 26, is telling us of? That God created man in his image. What is this image of God? Because takasiyana, by the way we look, I am tall, he is short. I am slim, he is fat. I am light, she is probably dark. But we're created in the image of God. So how come this image varies in all of us? Because technically speaking, we are different. We are different. So what is this image of God? Now you realize that those who create images, they will tell you that the purpose of an image is to image. That when you raise your phone to take a selfie, so what you are trying to do is to image an image of your image. Amen. Are we working together, church?
Oh, yes.
We were created in the image of God. So in other words, you actually want to see yourself from yourself as yourself. That is the purpose of an image. Because we got a picture. I've seen people get mad because they're not good as Zaganaka and the eye rashata delete. Because we got Sandiri. But that is the purpose of what? Of an image. Amen. To image what you are. So this question becomes a mystery in the world. But praise be to God, because today we want to demystify the mystery. Praise be to God for this opportunity. So, when God created man in his own image, it means we were supposed to look like what? Like him. Yes. But we have established that this is not about physicality or the way we look. Because we are what? We're different. So now let's go deeper. Let's see what is it that God is that we are supposed to image of him. Isn't? Yes. So you realize that the image of God being referred to in the book of Genesis is the resemblance of a godlike character. It is the resemblance of the righteousness of God. It is the resemblance of the three angels' message. It is the resemblance of the Adventist movement. Hence God can say, I have created men in my image. Created in the image of God. That is our topic. But resembling the image of Mammon. Under the theme, the ultimate preparation for the now and the hereafter. So you realize that when Adam and Eve were created, they were placed in a garden. And we are told that they were given dominion over every living thing. We are told that they were given power and authority over all things in that garden, over all things on earth. That's why Adam could name animals. We call it Mompe now because Adam called it a cow. We call it a lion because Adam called it a what? A lion. That's why they would talk to those lions. That's why they would speak to cheetahs. Because they were created in the what? In the image of God. Because they were given authority. They were given dominion. So when they were given authority, they were supposed to be a what? A representative of God, isn't it? That's why they were given even the authority to multiply and fill the earth before they even sinned. That was already God's plan because we are told of that before they sinned, isn't it? Yes. So they were supposed to be an ambassador of God on earth. So they had this power and authority because they resembled whose image? The image of God. My family, my brothers and my sisters, once we resemble the image of God, we have power over everything the devil strikes upon us. You don't need a stone to have power. You only need to resemble the image of God.
Amen.
You don't need a bracelet to have power. You don't need stickers sticked on your car so that you don't have accident to have power. You only need the image of God. Fathers at home, for you to get respect, you don't need to rule with an iron hand. You need the image of God because that is the symbol of power. For you to be called someone at school, you don't need to be too talkative. You only need the image of God because that is the symbol, the Bible symbol of power. Created in the image of God, but resembling the image of man. So you only need the character of God to have power. Nothing else. Don't be fooled and told that this is going to save you. This will give you power. You don't need snacks in your houses to have power. You don't need to do politics to have power. You only need the image of God. Why am I saying this? Ask the people who preached on the day of Pentecost. Once they had the image of God, what happened? Created in the image of God, but resembling the image of God. So when they were placed in the Garden of Eden, they were only given one test. They were instructed not to eat of the fruit that was in the middle of the garden. Of all trees that were in the garden, they were told to what? To eat. But only of the fruit that was in the middle of the garden they were not supposed to touch. And if you read SOP, it will tell us that the angels used to come and worship with them. The angels used to come and warn them about the existence of the devil. Which means these people, they knew that the devil existed, Adam and Eve. Because every single day, the angels used to visit the garden and worship with them and warn them of the existence of the devil. But there she is, Eve. She's away from Adam. And then she meets a snake. It was called serpent back then, before it was a snake. And then she talks to the snake. And then the snake convinces her to eat the fruit, which she wasn't supposed to eat. Mind you, this fruit, the punishment of it was, if you, the day that you touch, not just eat, by touching, you shall surely what? You shall surely die. So she brings the fruit to Adam. SOP tells us that Adam saw that Eve had sinned. He knew that the devil had succeeded. But then we are told that Adam ate what? The fruit. But he knew that if he eats the fruit, he was what? He was sinning. And then SOP continues to tell us that the reason why he ate is because he was afraid to lose who? Eve. And he was like, Totofati, Ndomuda singaiti, flesh of my flesh, bone of my bones. Nomuda singaiti. He loved Eve so much to the extent that he decided kuti kana Mwari vakauya vakatiuraya Neniwo akatora akadya ndonofa. But he knew that he was sinning. Matai Papo, he knew that he was sinning. And then I posed a question to the church. How many times have we compromised on God's law because of the things that we love? How many times have we worked on a Sabbath because we actually fear to lose our jobs? In your relationship, how many times have you compromised to engage in intimate relations just because you fear that you'll never have another boyfriend? How many times have we compromised? Kids at school, how many times have you lied? Because you fear that they will not accept you and take you for who you are. How many times have we lied to protect the things that we love? This is something for thought. Created in the image of God, but resembling the image of Mammon. Adam took the fruit not because he knew that he wasn't sinning, but because he loved Eve too much more than God. Because God's law is as holy as himself. How many things do you love more than God? Tikaisa mota namwari apa. Which one would you go for? Tikaisa marap and God here. Which one would you go for? Mind you, when I say God, I say his law. Because it's as holy as him. Which one would you go for? Created in the image of God, but resembling the image of Mammon. So God was faithful to them. And the choice otherwise. So by sinning, here's where the whole point is. By sinning, they shifted from resembling the image of God to resembling the image of who? Of the devil. Because God's image knows no sin. So by sinning, they shifted from resembling the image of God to resembling the image of Mammon. And then when they sinned, that's when they realized they were naked. Amen? Yes, when they sinned, they realized they were naked. And then I posed a question. How many times have you walked in town and people look at you and you realize that you are naked? I'll let you think on that. How many times have you been caught lying, red-handed, and you felt naked? Because only when the image of God was removed from them, that's when they see that they were naked. So the moment that you do something and then you feel naked, let me ask you a question. Whose image are you representing? The moment you walk with ripped jeans and your trousers below your buttocks and people see you as naked, and when people explain to you, see really that you are naked, whose image are you representing? Because you can only realize that you are naked when you don't have the image of God. And there are only two images. It's either of God or of Mammon. Whose image are you representing? Created in the image of God, but resembling the image of Mammon. So God then comes to the garden. We're going with the story step by step. And then he calls Adam. Adam! Adam! Where are you? People, God knew where Adam was. God knew where Adam was. He knew. And God wasn't asking Adam where he was. But God was saying, Adam! Adam! A man created in the image of God. How come you have allowed yourself to shift from representing my image to representing the image of God? Where are you in terms of your faith? Deaf Central, full of people created in the image of God. Where are you in terms of your faith? That's the question God is asking right now. Your name might be Paul. And God is saying, Paul, where are you in terms of your faith? Why have you allowed yourself to shift from representing my image to representing the image of the devil? So, once they had sinned, the consequences were hard. After sinning, they were now chased out of the garden that gave them fruit and vegetables to eat. They now had to fend for themselves. They now had to look after themselves. Adam was supposed to eat of his sweat and blood. Eve was supposed to have pain in bearing labor. I'm sure mothers know this. This is just the result of the shift from representing the image of God to representing the image of Mammon. Nothing complicated about that. That was just a result of the shift from representing an image of God to representing the image of Mammon. Then what happened after? We see Cain, the first murderer, killing his brother Abel. What happened after? We see God killing people with a flood. What happened after? We are told of Sodom and Gomorrah. These were the results of the image, of the shift from representing the image of God to representing the image of Mammon. So the consequences of shifting from the image of God are very hard. And very painful. That's why we see that people had now had to kill animals to sacrifice to God for the remission of sins. We are told that SOP tells us that when Adam, because he's the first person to kill an animal, when he offered the first sacrifice, he cried because of a sheep. Just by seeing it dying, he cried. Because he had never seen life taken before. He had never seen anything dying before. Because these people, when they were placed in the garden, the result, if they had followed God, was eternity. They were going to go to heaven and fuel the heavenly emptiness that was there. But the only test that was there, if they had passed, they were going to join the heavenly host. But their loyalty had to be tested. And once they failed to do so, these were the result. And Adam cried. Imagine for the first time, and it makes you cry. That was the result of the shift from representing the image of God to representing the image of Mammon. So now you realize that the punishment for eating the fruit was death. Are we all together on this? The punishment was what? Was death. What the Bible said, on the day that you eat of this fruit, you shall surely what? You shall surely die. Which means when Adam and Eve ate the fruit, they were supposed to what? On the what? On the what? People, we read the Bible. On the very day that you eat of this fruit, you shall surely what? Which means when Eve touched the fruit, she was supposed to what? Did she die? No. That's where my question is. Eve and Adam didn't die. Romans chapter 6 verse 23 will tell you that for the wages of sin is death. They were supposed to die. But how come they didn't die? Because someone had to die. If they didn't die, someone had to die in their place. And if someone had to die in their place, it was God who had to die in their place. Because if you break God's law, it's as holy as himself. So only a sacrifice that is equal to God was supposed to be made. These people were supposed to die. How many times have you lied? And how many times are you supposed to be dead right now? Let's say you would die and wake up, hypothetically speaking. Die, wake up. How many times would you have died? Sorry. How many times have you committed fornication and adultery? How many times have you broke the Sabbath? How many times? Now, start counting in your head. How many times? How many times? Now. So the result, they were supposed to die. But someone had to die in their place. So the price had to be paid. And then we read of John 3 verse 16. People, what does it say? For God so loved what? That he gave what? That what? Should not what? But have what? What a God, someone did. What else do we need to hear? After this. So now the second Adam comes to come and finish what the first Adam could not. If you read, let's just open 1 Corinthians chapter 15 so that we stay in track. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, who's there? And the verses 45. Anyone who's there? Yes.
And so it is written.
Yes.
The first man Adam was made a living soul.
Amen.
The last Adam was made a quickening spirit.
I repeat that. Repeat that.
And so it is written.
Yes.
The first man Adam was made a living soul.
A living soul, yes.
The last Adam was made a quickening spirit.
Amen. Amen. So the second Adam now had to come to finish what the first Adam could not. So Jesus had to come to vindicate God's character to the world, to come and restore the image of God to the world, so that we might be called under God's image once again. Because on our own, we had failed to resemble his image. So God was supposed to come so that he might sanctify us with his blood, so that we might be called sons and daughters of God once again. So Jesus came on earth. He was born in a manger. He lived a sinless life. Betrayed by one of his disciples. After he was betrayed by one of his disciples, the Bible tells us that the soldiers came and took him, and he moved from judgment hall to judgment hall. And even the kings of this world could not find any blame on him. They could not. And they tried to find excuses, send him there, send him there, send him there, because they could not find any blame in him. He had done nothing wrong. And after that, he had to watch his disciples leave him. They had to walk from a distance. And after that, they took him lastly to Pilate's judgment hall. And in that judgment hall, the world was given a murderer, Barabbas. And Jesus, the creator of them, and they were asked, "Deupi wa munoda?" It is the king of the Jews, as they said. Oh, uyu akauraya vakawanda venyu. And do you know what the people said? They shouted, "Give to us Barabbas, Jesus crucified." They chose a murderer over the creator of this world. They chose the devil who takes life, because that's what a murderer do. But instead, they crucified the person who had to come to give them eternal life. Barabbas is taking, Jesus wants to give eternal life. And you say, give to us Barabbas. How many times have you had two options and you have opted for Barabbas? How many times have you had options and you have said, no, and it's good eternal life? Depend on Barabbas. I would rather choose the devil than God. This is just the same story. How many times have you compromised on that